I'd like to call this meeting to order of the Nicholas County Board of Education, a regular meeting, Monday, November 7th. And at this time, if you'll stand for a moment of silent reflection. Thank you. At this time, we're going to have the Ridgewood High School sign language class. Lauren Jones is the instructor. Students Gracie Bruner, Chloe Odell, and Abby Childers. And they're going to sign the pledge as we recite the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Wonderful job.
Okay, item 3, approved minutes of meetings held on August 15th, September 1st, September 6th, September 19th, October 3rd, October 13th, and October 17th, 2022. And just so the public knows why those are just now being approved, our executive secretary was working on the certified list, which had to be turned in by October 1st, and that took all her time. So if anybody wants to make that.
Mr. President, I move that we approve those minutes that you have just stipulated.
May I have a motion to approve the minutes by Dr. Penix? Second. Second by Mr. Berry. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? All right.
I'm pushing you. I'm moving my chair. I keep sliding down.
Mr. Berry's got candy. Oh, no.
I got the candy.
Okay, discussion.
I don't know what happened, but I just corrected it, so.
Number 4, discussion on the superintendent's goals as it relates to school performance, student outcomes, and or academics, report goals and actions to improve student achievement and well-being.
Yes, so so we've gone through the process of fine-tuning our verbiage and how we best utilize the IXL program. Currently, we have a two-pronged approach that we settled on after meeting with our IXL representative. Using the diagnostic arena for at least 15 questions per week, which I mentioned that last time, to ensure students remain pinpointed so that we can monitor overall student and school achievement levels. See, that's where we saw all the gray area. Students may have been, going online answering questions, but not answering enough questions to be pinpointed to actually have an accurate assessment. Utilize the individualized skill plan created for each student based off the diagnostic assessment results to allow students to work on their 2 lowest skills each week. Students will locate their lowest math skill and their lowest ELA skill. Then students will work on those skills until they achieve a SMART score of 180. A step-by-step informatic is this week's newsletter that walks teachers through how to use both the diagnostic and skill plans to use the IXL to the best of its ability, while also giving our students the opportunity to close achievement gaps using differentiated individualized skill plans. And the newsletter, I think, does a really good job laying that out. Second, some schools will not have data that is as easily comparable as others due to students not being pinpointed. That's the problem we saw last time. All diagnostic data is kept updated in real time. Now that we have a concrete countywide plan and how to use the program, principals can work with their teachers to ensure that students maintain pinpointed status and also focus on individualized skills to increase student achievement. So at my last principals meeting, that's something that we talked about. We talked about, having the students pinpointed, how to have students work on the areas that their two lowest areas, and I'm pretty pleased with some of the results that I'm seeing even over the past couple weeks. As the board members see the comparative data for elementary versus secondary and between the three elementary schools that are presenting tonight, you'll see how this program can help us best monitor student achievement and growth if schools ensure students maintain their pinpointed status and focus on their two skills from their individualized skill plans. The purpose of using diagnostic to maintain pinpointed status allows instructional leaders to monitor growth. Purpose of two skills from the individualized skill plan each week directs focus on encouraging students to work on their lowest skills so that they can close achievement gaps between themselves and their peers. IXL is a program that allows all students from grades K-12 to utilize a platform that is comparable. Previously, different programs were used that would enhance student achievement, but they were not comparable across all grade levels or programmatic levels. IXL uses the holistic discussions with instructional leaders on how to meet our students' needs and determine where our students are in real time in terms of achievement. And lastly, IXL is different from previous benchmark tests we may have used in that it allows us to not only pinpoint student abilities at different points in time, but we can also use the same program to continue to engage students in meaningful practice that can ultimately help them become more comfortable with standardized exams taken in digital format, while monitoring up-to-date data at any point between benchmarks. So what I want to share with you, and unfortunately our other TV went down, so we just have the one, is the data comparisons. I start off with showing a snapshot of Nicholas County schools for mathematics. You can see the first one that I showed you, we only had maybe 34% or 34 students above grade level. Now we are 60 students above grade level. This is just since the last board meeting. 424 students on grade. Now we're up to 550 on grade. 453 students below grade, or 301 below grade. So you can see these increases. You can see the bar graph, you can see the increases. This is countywide. Then the ELA snapshot, you'll see 77 students. And of course, I'm just showing you elementary level because that's what we're looking at tonight. 77 students above grade, we're up to 104. 318 on grade last time, we're up to 412. Below grade 390, we're 269. I mean, the far below went from 339 to 202. And the not pinpointed was 301 to 338. So I'm not really sure why the not pinpointed, why we have fewer not pinpointed this time. But we're working on that. But I'm really pleased to see growth. Secondary, you'll see we had the math snapshot, we had 4 students above grade. We still have 4 students above grade. We had 43 students on grade, now we're at 60. We're not seeing a lot of growth there. Again, I'm not sure why our pinpoints are not as far along. We did have the meeting, but these are things that we will continue to monitor with the principals on my monthly meetings. Go back. And that's just by grade level.
So that, it doesn't tell us which school.
No, I'm just focusing tonight. I'm going to focus on my 3 schools tonight Then the next time we'll have 3 additional schools. So I just wanted to give you a general overview of how we're doing with the county, and then focus on my 3 schools tonight with Glade Creek, Cherry River, and Mount Lookout. And that way you can ask them questions.
Well, just, looks like one school uses more than the other.
It's grade level.
Is that grade 6 through 12?
It's 6 through 12.
It's grade level.
So
This was previous.
that's
this is
not
current.
bad.
What was the orange and the gray?
The orange is far below grade level, and the gray is not pinpointed, which means they've not answered their 12 questions for the week.
So those two would affect each other, I suppose?
No, the gray just means that they've not completed enough of the work to be assessed.
But, yeah, the low grade level changed quite a bit.
The below grade level, we went from, well, the far below grade level, I'm sorry. It did change quite a bit because we were 1,265 students far below grade level, now we're at 679. Yeah.
The real test of the program is going to be after we have the elementary and students go through the program and then go to high school, we see an improvement. Then we'll know that that's the result of that.
Well, that's true, and we're hoping to see improvements even faster than that by looking at tests. So we're going to check our test scores to see, our statewide test scores to see, we're going to try to do some correlations with that. So if this aligns as it's supposed to align, and it does align, I mean, we have the standards, it aligns, our scores should come up this year. And we're going to be tracking that. Dr. Lee and Josie are really paying attention to that. So we're hoping to have some pretty good data after this year.
On the secondary, particularly the high schools, not all students are in a math class for all 4 years. Is this counting for all students at the high school level?
But yes, it counts for 6th through 12th grade.
So if they're being measured on math, if they're not in math class?
They should all have a math.
They should all have a math.
Policy 2510 calls for a math class each year.
Now, what if we take math, if it's 3 and 4 the same year, then they would have a math their senior year, right? Or do they still
I can
just
just
take
speak for
that?
my students, he does, he's at 3 and 4, both of his juniors, but then they move into an advanced math class as a senior.
So the goal is we do want our kids in math each year.
So if you say they're not being pinpointed, whatever, they would be doing this during their math class, wouldn't it?
They could, or they could be doing it during, like at the middle school, they're doing it during the homeroom period, or they could be doing it during their either advisory or their fall time, depending on what the schools call it. It can be used during any time of the day.
And they can do it at home. Some are doing it at home.
Well, that's a matter of monitoring, but it gets done.
Yes, that.
This is the ELA snapshot. You know, on grade, it's a little different. We do have, you know, we had 103 above grade, now we've got 91. We had 130 on grade, now we have 90. We had below grade 192. Now we reduced that to 110. So we brought that up, and then the far below was 927. We decreased that to 611. And then not pinpointed, again, I'm not sure why it's showing this difference, because they had 492 not pinpointed originally, and now they're showing 942. Again, I will pull this PowerPoint when I talk to my principals, and I will ask them to explain to me. Look at this, tell me. Let's figure out what's going on, how we get more pinpointed. Are you going to 12? How are you monitoring it? And so I will use the same slideshow to have discussions with my principals.
So those who are not pinpointed could affect the whole graph. if we knew what their.
Yeah, I mean, if they're not showing up, yes, absolutely. And that's probably the problem, why we
Yeah, the
saw a
difference between
decrease in
orange
some of
and
this
gray.
because we had fewer pinpoints. I'm not sure why. But this is great information for me to have discussions with my instructional leader. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is show you, each of the schools, and then our three schools tonight. I'm gonna quickly go through this, and then I'm gonna ask each one of those schools to come up and do a 3 to 5 minute presentation to you. So this is Mount Look Elementary level, and you can see it's increased from 2 students above grade level in mathematics to 5 students. It's increased from 37 students on grade level to 65 students. It's your 40 students below grade level has reduced to 22 students. The far below was 13, has been reduced to 6, and the not pinpointed has gone from 15 to 9. And you can see the bar. That's math. And then for the ELA, again, this is Mount Lookout. You can see we had 9 students above, now we have 12. We had 23 on grade, now we have 44. We had 36 below, now we have 33. We had 19 far below, now we have 12. We had 20 not pinpointed, now we only have 6. You see. So it's pretty good. You can show they're really showing some progress. Cherry River Elementary, we have 4 students above, now we have 6. We had 40 students on grade level, now we have 56. We had 38 below, now we have 35. Far below, we had 26, now we have 24. We had 28 not pinpointed, now we have 15. See the charts. Seeing growth again. For Cherry River Elementary ELA, 12 students, so it stayed the same on above. We had 27 students on grade level, we're up to 34. We had 39 below grade level. We have slipped a little bit here, we're at 44. We had 28 far below, we went to 32, slipped just a little bit there. We have 30 not pinpointed, and now we only have 14. So definitely showing gains with a little bit of slippage. Glade Creek, we have 1 student showing above grade level. Now we're not showing 6, and this is for math. We have 52 on grade level. We're showing 36. We've slipped there a little bit. We had 51 students below grade level. Now we only have 27. We had 20 students far below. Now we only have 10. They had 15 students not pinpointed, and now it's showing 60, and I'm not really sure why. I'm not sure why that's happening.
I'll explain why when I get up there.
Okay, so that's why I just want to give you these, and then they can come up and they will be able to explain it all. That's why it's far better to bring them up to speed, because I would never be able to cover it. And then ELA for Lake Creek, we have 4 students above. Now we have 4. We have 40 students on. Now we have 45 on grade level. We have 44 below. Now we have 32 below grade level. So that's definitely an improvement. We had 39 students far below. Now we only have 14 far below. And it was showing, again, 12 not pinpointed out, showing 44. So that's what we have with those 3 schools. And I'll ask Mount Lookout to come up and present. Again, we're going to hold it to 3 to 5 minutes. It's definitely not an LSIC presentation, but to give you more information.
said, we will dig a little bit into the IXL data, but most of what we were tasked with doing was to discuss attendance, how we're addressing low performance gaps, as well as how we are monitoring instruction within the classroom. We have our back to.
I'm glad you recapped that, because yes, those are the three things that I asked them to focus on, because that's part of the goals.
So, to discuss how I'm monitoring everything, since we no longer have the walkthrough app as principals to use, there's actually a red notebook back there on my chair that I have tabs with each teacher's name on it, and as I go in, I make my anecdotal notes, because I don't want to make noise when the kids are having their instruction. So I'll come back and put this in an Excel spreadsheet, and you'll see some of my results in a moment. But my school being that small, I have that luxury that I'm in my classroom daily. It's often that I'm in there more than once a day. Frequent 3 to 5 minute walkthroughs, and then I do at least 10 to 30 minute observations of every teacher. I do not have any teachers that are in that progression that has to be observed at all. All of mine are 6+ years experience, but I still am in the classroom that frequently. This is just a small snippet of one of the screens in my Excel, so I blacked out the teachers' names and the grades so that we aren't identifying anybody, and often I have student names in here so that when I go have conversations with my teachers, I can refer to my notes and make sure that we are having a good communication about what's going on in the classroom, what's working, what isn't, what do we need to fix, or what do we need to continue as far as best practices. Then the other piece that we were to address was attendance, and we've approached this from a 3-prong. We've done a school-wide, a class-wide, and then an individual approach with our incentives for students to coming back to school, especially post-COVID. So with our 9 weeks, we do an incentive as a field trip. I was able to write for our grant that Dr. Lee put out, and so we do it bell to bell with 2 or less excused absences, since that's what the county kind of used them pre-COVID. We went back to 2 or less excused absences, but it is bell to bell, which the parents weren't using before necessarily, and so that's been an adjustment for them. But that's made possible with some of that money. As you can see, our first field trip was to the movies, and each 9 weeks we have that actually getting to be a little bit bigger of a field trip. My secretary calls home daily to the kids that are absent, as well as the 3, 5, and 8 daily letters, which are much easier to do now with actually one of the perks of the new WIO system. And then SAT team referral. For the class-wide program for attendance, we have this banner for each individual classroom outside the door. And every day that all of the kids are there bell to bell, they get to color in a letter. And when the whole word is colored in, then the classroom gets to pick a reward. And they get pretty competitive, just like my teachers are with it. For individual attendance, we have had 9-week certificates that we hand out. We do an honor roll club parade. We have a red carpet rollout, so I incorporated attendance into that as well. But monthly, we also had a donation given, and I have brand new bicycles. And so every month, all of the kids that are there bell to bell in each individual classroom are put into a drawing, and we do a monthly drawing. And this was our very first one. We've had one since then. And then how we are addressing areas of low performance. When we looked at GSA data from last year, our weakest strand in math, and as you can see the strands in IXL, that's easily seen now, so that's one perk of that as well. But our weakest was geometry. So we decided that as a staff, I spoke with them when we started geometry jams on Fridays, so that the kids are engaged. It starts with music, the kids are up doing brain breaks of movement, and then some type of hands-on geometry activity. And there's a slide later with IXL specific to geometry, and you'll see the growth that just that small focus has made. With reading, Heggerty Phonics is now implementing K2 with consistency every single day to address those low performance gaps where a lot of the phonics and phonological awareness was lost when we had so much lack of instruction, basically because of the COVID that we were home. Then when I went in last January and began there, I did a needs assessment survey with the staff, and they had overwhelmingly said that the staff felt like they needed support with writing. So we sat down and looked at a variety of programs, and they voted last spring. And we are actually beginning it was supposed to be in person tomorrow, but some snafus in Florida's tropical storms have derailed that, but we're going to do Zoom Wednesday and Thursday with that. And then as all of the elementary schools are pretty much following an academic differentiation model of Title I, where all of our special ed, Title I, and any resource folks are coming in during the same small group math time or same small group reading time per grade level. so that we can truly divide those kids out and really get them exactly where their skills are needed. So some of our groups are as small as 3. So that's really made a big difference. And then, of course, we're able to differentiate with IXL, which you guys have seen. And then with IXL, we were approaching it from 2 prongs. We look at it, as she had mentioned, with the diagnostic action plans of what are our 2 weakest areas, one for math, one for ELA. But we are also using it for all grade levels, of course. So we are addressing the lower skill gaps with looking at that, a diagnostic action plan. But when they are doing on grade level material, whether it's whole group or even in small group, they can assign those skills based on the exact concept that they're covering and or based on a grade level standard. If they're looking at GSA data and they know they're weak in a specific standard, they can pull the lessons specific to that standard and assign them. One thing, just food for thought for you guys, when we met with the IXL reps, that no matter if it's my school, another school, or countywide, that if you look at the mountain of skills, your skills proficient should be at least 50% or above of what they've practiced. So as small as we are, that I was pretty proud of that number. And then the geometry focus that I mentioned that we did, you can see the difference here from, if you even just look at the above and on in the green, from the beginning of the snapshot to now. That's just with 10 minutes on Fridays, getting that focus and making sure that that's a priority and that they're getting re-exposed to that vocabulary and that content every single week. But the growth was pretty strong. I was proud of that. You can see the far below from 31 down to 11. And these 6 kids, 2 are brand new, and one was absent last week, and that left one, and we got that remedied, so that's the answer to the 6 that aren't pinpointed. And then the IXL ELA data, you can take a look. This is just reading strategies. There's all the various strands. I just picked one for ELA and one for math to show you. But you can take a look here again, that 9 above and 20 on grade level, but look at it now. So we met with Samantha Murphy, our TIS, this morning and went through every single strand for ELA and math and went through all of the data comparisons with each grade level. And so they know exactly where to pinpoint and refocus or focus further. And I feel like the staff out there, that's not a result of me, that's a result of the staff and their hard work and bunch. So I'm very proud of them. But any questions?
What was that you said about the gray area?
The 6 kids that I have that aren't pinpointed, 2 of them are brand new, and they weren't released from Fayette County until last week, so we couldn't even get them in there.
Okay.
So that was down to 4. A couple of them were absent, and the other one was in a different classroom at that time.
If they're not there, the day that you do that.
Yes. And it may be that we can pick them up another day, but it may not be specific to what's going on. And I will share this, that I did have a couple teachers that worked on it Thursday. Every single, and I saw the reports, every single kid in the room was pinpointed, so this is kind of food for thought for you too. They were all pinpointed. But sometimes we're trying to figure out, and Samantha and I made a list this morning of questions for IXL, because they didn't touch it Friday because of what they were doing, but today some of them weren't pinpointed. So that didn't make much sense to us. So we don't know if there's a time frame, if you're not in there, so sometimes it pulls those kids out of being pinpointed. So we do have some fine-tuned questions to present to IXL, but I'll just give you that scenario that I know from my school specifically.
So really the program, not anybody.
Right, exactly, yeah. So sometimes there's gonna be little pieces like that, but it's just the implementation phase that we're trying to figure out the kinks of. But that was just one specific example.
You're concentrating on
Yes.
is that the only place?
No, that was our greatest weakness as far as when I pulled out all of the various strands, whether it's algebraic thinking, number sense, whatever the math strand was, we looked at all of the areas, and geometry was our weakest. So when I looked at strategic planning for the school, I looked at the lowest, weakest area, and I said, how are we going to address it? So I said, let's start with, we're not going to change the entire curriculum. Let's start with small baby steps, and let's see where we need to go from there. So I asked them to spend 10 minutes every Friday doing something that was very engaging. Start with some music, start with fun, and give me some hands-on concept of how they're addressing geometry just for 10 minutes on Friday, and it's paid dividends already.
They're getting all the others.
Yeah, they're hitting everything else. We are not neglecting anything. We're just taking 10 minutes on each Friday to make sure we're addressing that concept that was our weakest area.
onward.
I'm old, I don't do this technology stuff.
You do pretty good at it.
Okay, well, we'll get Rachel. Not that much. Okay, I pretty much was the same thing she did. Started with attendance. School-wide, each 9 weeks we do a reward for students that have 3 or less absences or tardy days. And it's something just, it doesn't cost anything, just like 30 minutes extra recess, or if during winter months we go into the gym and do board games, or Sundays, where's Sherry? Something like, something like that. And then for classroom, each 9 weeks, the classroom with the best attendance percentage receives an attendance certificate. They get a display outside their classroom, and they fight over who gets that. And then individual, we're just doing one at the end of the year. For any students that have perfect attendance, then they'll receive a field trip of some sort at the end of the year. We have to decide where. And then principal presence in the classroom. Daily, I go into every classroom in the mornings when I pick up their morning folders for attendance and all that kind of thing. 3 to 5 minute observations weekly, just in and out of the classroom. 15 to 20 minute observations monthly. Like she said, we don't actually have the walkthroughs yet. More time than that, but just to make sure I was covered. Some things that I've observed as I'm going through is behavior phonics for phonemic awareness. One of the teachers was using task cards, working with the informational writing strategies that one teacher was using for writing complete paragraphs, strategies for adding and subtracting decimals, correct instructions of handwriting without tears, and I always make a mistake and say handwriting with tears, which is wrong. They correct me on that. The way that we have been addressing low achieving areas is the lowest thing we found when we analyzed our GSA scores was in the area of writing. So I helped with professional development for my teachers over the summer that focused on writing and using rubrics and different activities they can use to improve writing. We do 4 writing celebrations a year. And a student from each classroom we give them a specific thing, like we just did a fall writing. And even the kindergartners they do like a little sentence or whatever to picture. And then one student from each class is chosen, and then they're hung out in the hall. And we do a little reward for those group of kids. Then we have 2 interventionists also. One focuses on grades K-2, and the other one focuses on grades 3-5. We've already had 14 different SAT meetings on students that are low achieving, and we have 3 more scheduled at this time to see what we need to do to meet their needs, to get them where they need to be. This is IXL. You can see where she was talking about. We haven't really focused too much at home yet. They were all just learning. Were you pilot school last year? Or no. We were just kind of getting our feet wet on this, so we're learning. That's why we're in the gray area, because we just found out last week that we were supposed to be in that arena. We were in there every week, but we were focusing more on how much time we were spending on it rather than where we were supposed to be in it. That's why we didn't have a lot pinpointed. But, so our progress and growth, you can see how many in our math, our skills, proficient skills mastered, skills proficient, skills mastered. Then this is kind of a diagnosis. You can see they're growing slowly, adding on. If you look at their current average diagnostic levels, like this is kindergarten, and so they're close. First grade should be this would be like first grade, 3rd month, so they're close there, or they are in math, getting there in reading. Same with 2nd, 3rd, 4th. Our 3rd grade teacher, she's been focusing more on ELA, so we're getting there on the math. But we've scheduled times, Mondays, Wednesdays, the last 15 minutes of the day are just IXL, so that we know that there's a minimum time that they're on IXL. They use it more throughout the week, like during their technology time, but that's a specific time that everybody school-wide is on IXL on Wednesday afternoons, or Monday afternoon and Wednesday afternoon, the last 15 minutes of the day. so that they can go into that arena and do what they're supposed to be doing. And that's it. Do you have any questions?
The other day when I was at your school, I noticed the kindergarten rank. That would have been hard to judge.
I know, they were good, weren't they?
Yes, they were.
I was shocked, because usually you can't even understand them at the first one.
Right.
Yeah, they were good. Let's pull this out.
Jerry River, Monica?
Mr. Martin?
Oh, I'm sorry.
You said you had an explanation about that.
That was great, yeah, we weren't going into the arena part where they were really being pinpointed, we were just doing skills, so it wasn't focusing on that pinpointed area. We were spending the time on it rather than going into the arena, where you have to go into the arena and answer 2 questions for them to be pinpointed. We weren't going into the arena, we were just going into their skills. That's why we weren't. So it should go well in the next little while, because they would really go to the
New people have a lot.
Right, we didn't, had no idea. I thought we had to be on there at least 30 minutes a week. And that's what I told that's why we walked it off.
Oh, you didn't get
But then, I was, when I came to prison, was told about the arena part, and that's when I went back and they didn't want the arena now, so it should come up.
If your attendance improves.
Our attendance is usually always good. We usually are, aren't we, Tammy? Lake Creek attendance usually up in the 90s. Yeah, we don't usually have too much problem with attendance.
Okay, so I just put a few photos up there for you, but mostly I'm just going to talk to you about. Ways in which we are addressing low performance. I mean, yes, IXL is being used, my data that you just saw. We are using it. I admit I'm just learning it though, and our teachers are learning it. But I've learned a lot looking at it lately. Some of our students, aren't pinpointed, but I was questioning some of that today with the teachers, and it's been like some of it's been iPad issues, some of it's been a couple of absences, and then a couple of we just have to get them. I told them Wednesday, Thursday of this week we're going to focus on getting them pinpointed. So, but every class except kindergarten has shown improvement when I printed that off. So I did have improvement. Kindergarten for some reason said gathering data, and I didn't really understand what that meant. But the teacher then took me to her view of it, and it showed improvement on almost all of her kids, which I brought that with me, but I didn't copy it pretty well. Another way that we're working is small group instruction to improve our areas of low performance. We do this 5 days a week. Our classroom teachers are working hard with Title I, and we've had the Save the Children program there that we use in groups. They have very few interruptions in the day. In fact, I think we've had like 2 the whole year. I mean, the rest of the time the teachers have been teaching, and they've really been working hard. We use Susan Barrett at our school. She helps with math intervention. We have a program called Bridges that she's helping us put together, and it is a center type program, and she organizes it, and then the teachers can come and get the box, take it to the center. It's all put together. She's been working hard on that all year. And then we also use Tony Nichols a good bit for our center. She's helped, because I have some very new people out there who may have taught like 1 year or not at all, and he's been helping them organize the centers and teach them like about Hagerty Phonics and about ASHLOC. That has been a big strategy that he's used. Increasing attendance, we do the same thing. This is perfect attendance in the classroom where they have to spell out the words. If everyone's there, they get a letter. I had this is 3rd grade, one of the 3rd grades that did it recently. so then they chose a pajama party, and that was their award for the classroom. Then I also did a perfect attendance award for the 9 weeks. Did you see that? How do you get back to that?
Was it?
Right there. There we go. It happened to be on Halloween, but I guess I was doing it too in the wrong spot. But I took them out for an extra 30-minute recess, and I had that many with perfect attendance in the pool for no link, so I thought that was pretty good. Let's see. Also, of course, we send out the 3 and 5-day letters, and we've been pretty good on top of that. And then we make phone calls home or do messages home to check on the kids. Frequency of myself in classrooms. I have been using the old app to document it because until the new one came, I've just been using the old one. But I'm in there throughout the day at different times. It's small enough that I have a pretty good presence in each room, and I'm in and out, and teachers know that I'm available at all times. And we have a really good, we've had a good year, so I've enjoyed working out there with the staff and everything, so. That's really all that I have, unless you all have questions. Wait, I have a couple of things to show you.
Other way.
This one? Okay, there. That is a trick or treat family engagement night that we had around Halloween, and it was big. We had a lot of the community, different businesses came and packed out candy, and that is an IXL station that we use to show the parents what it was and just kind of introducing it to them. But it was fun. They had blast. I think that was one more. Yeah, that was the Title I book giveaway that they did with Trick or Treat. So we involved Title I, Save the Children, we involved IXL. We had big nights that night. So trying to incorporate everybody.
How's the playground?
It looks good. It's being new, but it looks nice. The swings look nice. And every day I go out there and something new is happening.
Well, that's in the area that was cut back previously. It looked like a nice facility.
Yeah. It's
Kind of
cool,
pea
yeah.
gravel.
I think it will be. The new, you're talking about the new playground?
Right.
Yeah, it will be.
It looked like it's going.
Okay. That one's so young. I hardly ever get out that far. I just drive past it, and there's always somebody working on it, but it looks nice. I think it will be nice. It's just going to take a little bit of time.
You have a lot of different approaches here, don't you? Rather than
Mhm.
just IXL.
Right. Well, I wanted to show everything we're doing to show, trying to increase our performance. Yeah, we're using a lot of people and a lot of resources out there. But I think it's going to work. I really do. It has a good atmosphere, and teachers are working together. People are getting along. Tony and Susan are there frequently to help us, so I think it's going to be good. But yeah, we're trying.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, this is the format that I selected to present information on meeting the goals established for student achievement in the county. And if the board knows of another approach you would like me to take in presenting this information to you, please let me know. If you're okay with this format, I will continue to present and then have 3 principals three schools once a month come in and present. I think it's nice for you to ask them questions.
It looks encouraging.
Okay, discussion item B, update on the number of county vehicles least responsible. Ken, did you have another one of these?
The first sheet, and after you guys a list of every vehicle that we have. I tried to, all mark down its purpose, its use. I wasn't sure exactly what you all wanted as far as, some of this goes, so if you'll see, like I even put like our dump truck, box trucks, vehicles like that, driver's ed vehicles, one there. We have, count every vehicle that we have a county tag on that you could possibly see out on the road at some point is 26 right now. The second sheet that I gave you, I guess that will come a little bit later. Those are the ones that will later ask to be put into surplus for the auction to get rid of. We do have several, 5 that are not really being used or probably shouldn't be used much longer. That have served their time.
Are all these vehicles, gas?
We have one truck that is diesel, and that is, trying to find it there. It's a little under halfway down to 2011 Ford F-350 is diesel.
So if it's diesel, they get the fuel at the bus garage?
Yes.
And if it's gas, they go in the
Yes.
The only concern I have is I could walk in there and tell them, put this on the counter, put my gas on the counter. What stops them from, because I know that you say clerks don't ask for an ID.
Well, they don't ask for an ID. They have to have a plate number, so they have to have a county tag.
So there is something.
And they document, and then we keep receipts. So if I go into USAVE and I charge to our account, they'll ask me for the plate number. They look out at the plate number, and they print off like 4 or 5 receipts. We keep 1, they keep 4, and when every single receipt, that license plate is written down, and then then we sign each of them, and we keep a close record of that. So all our employees turn in their receipts almost within a day. Most of them are pretty good about turning them in immediately. So we can cross-reference any of those charges with what's coming in from the USAID to what we're actually, the receipts we have.
Your secretary monitors, or the lady that
Yes.
she monitors all the receipts that come in against the bill that's sent to you say for somebody else.
There's a 2022 Ford Forest River Campers Inn RV Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that was on my list, the
I don't have that one on here yet.
federal program.
You wouldn't know about that, ma'am?
That's free.
What if, oh, that's not a county vehicle.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. I didn't put that on here because I don't think we have it yet, do we?
No, we don't have
We
it.
don't have it.
Okay, so I have it on my notes to ask about that.
Yes.
Mr. Booth, you did too.
Yep. We received a grant with Safe Children to purchase a mobile unit. And I'll show you what they've done. This is from what they've done previously in Gilmer County. And this is what they've done in another state. What these grants provide is the vehicle and the rack and retrofitting so that we will have a mobile unit that we are ready to be able to roll out with in the event, like for example, of another pandemic. We're also able to use that until we have another pandemic for family outreach, going to events, food delivery in the summer. So basically, we're getting ready for when this COVID funding is gone and we are not able to have a summer program at 9 of our sites, and we have to start scaling back. We can actually take services to children. What we found is that RV that you see listed there, it's a little shorter than this one. We didn't want to go big because we wanted to be able to take it in remote areas. So we want to be able to take things to the children and the families. So for example, when we did the food box distribution, it was here or it was at the school. But this way we can be able to take things to like the community center over at Nettie or to Gill or Wyden down that way, where we will have a unit that can actually go out. And so will reimburse us the purchase of the RV. We did find one, it's used. It's got 1,500 miles on it, and hopefully, if everything goes through tonight, we'll be picking it up later this week.
So that was through a grant.
Yes.
Wow.
We knew that would ask a lot of questions, and we did, even though it's used and you don't have to put it out for bid, we got 3 comparable items to make sure what we were doing was reasonable, and I think we've done right well for ourselves.
I just thought I could go to Hampton.
That's what I thought. On late board meeting nights, we can park it out back and just take a nap and be here for work in the morning. But I think when they retrofit it, the bed will be gone.
I'll take a shot at that, buddy.
Yeah.
Was there a vehicle? No, this is another one.
Okay,
okay.
you're good, sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It'll be on his next list, because once, it's purchased for us. We own it.
There was one, I think, in somewhere I read, there's a refrigerated delivery truck that we were buying one or getting one rebuilt.
Yep. That's also a new one, and that is at the very top of the list.
Okay, the Freightliner.
Yep, the Freightliner, and it is brand new. It is a really nice truck. I don't know if, Sherry, are you planning on talking about that? Okay. I mean, it's okay. So one thing,
It probably would be decent.
it is also, I did not include when asked about which vehicle was diesel, I didn't include it or the other.
You're fine.
Yeah.
I
I'm talking about, but those aren't vehicles that are really driven every day. And I understood it as the vehicles that we probably drive.
Yeah, I know we use it heavy during the time of school.
Yep, and we still deliver food, every 2 weeks, and then sometimes there's another day in there to deliver, the fresh produce.
You know, most of the bulk food is brought here and put in the cooler here.
It is.
And
We
then-
get quite a bit of commodities every month.
Right.
We get the delivery from Charleston once a month, and then I send an order form out to the cafeteria manager every other week. And it cuts down on the price of food that's lower. So it cuts down on that by using commodities. And, we work together, and his maintenance guys take the food out, but we've got, like, back in the summer, we picked up an actual calendar of when it would be convenient, because every 2 weeks I send an order out, I make sure they have their paperwork, and then they take it out the next Tuesday and Wednesday. We get produce from Sterling, they used to do it once a month, and now they do it every 2 weeks. And the difference, like just for example, in the produce, for a case of apples is $7.46, is what we get it from them. But from like, you know, a regular producer, you're talking $20, $30, so it's a substantial savings. But, as Alan and I have talked, when, because they send us what we're allowed to have every 2 weeks, what we can order, before I place an order or send out to my cooks to see what they want, I go to Alan and say, you know, take out produce. Because they do take out my commodities, my regular food, every 2 weeks, and that just throws in an extra week. So if you tell me they can't take it out, then okay, I just don't order for that time. Because last year, up into this year, it was just once a month, but now produce from twice a month. So that kind of costs these guys up even more.
So I think when the old truck we bought it used, it was pretty well used when we bought it.
Yeah, and this one, it's very nice that we're able to use Christmas. We used COVID money for that. We were able to use the COVID money to cover that. So, it, you know, that.
And the other truck's still operational, and we're still using it. What it's actually done for us is, whereas it was, where it was sometimes a two-day operation getting food delivered, now we're able to split it up. If we have manpower available that day, we can split up and we get the whole county in a day. So it's really made a huge difference in
And if our freezers go down at one of the schools, which has happened in the past, then we take the freezer truck and set it at the school, and the guys load all the stuff from the school freezer that's there, which keeps us from losing product. So it makes a big difference. But if the freezer goes down and we can't get that stuff out of there, we don't have some place to put it, and we won't all that.
Well, Mr. Stump, thank you. I hope that didn't cause you a lot of work.
Not too much. I did put, I also did put the mileage on there. I mean, and part of the reason I did that, we have a list of just vehicles where you get the VIN number and the years and things like that. But I did want to see, some of our vehicles are starting to get up there. They're starting to wear down pretty bad. So,
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, moving on to action items. Approval of purchase of Safe Children mobile unit. Sarah and Sarah. I think,
You already read this?
I think we're just covered on that. Well, that, are you just planning on storing that out here?
For the time being, yes, it's gonna take us a little while until we get the, draft on it, and then once we get the draft on it, then we can decide if we can do all seven of those sides, depending on how frequently we let it out.
Okay, approval of MOU with Emerson College for intern placement of speech language pathology students in Nichols County.
Yes, you have, this was loaded into your packet. It's a pretty standard agreement. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Well, I just, and I talked to you about this afternoon, is that Emerson's in Boston.
Correct.
Pretty far off call, I mean.
Correct.
It's not a local call. But you explained that we had some local students going there.
Yes.
That they wanted to make.
When they contacted me, that they said they had students in the area who needed placement.
It's a local student.
Is it a local student?
Yes.
Okay.
Nichols County students.
Yes.
And it costs us nothing.
Oh, well, and it's
Yeah.
hard to get those folks, so I
Right.
say bring them on.
Right.
Especially with some contact with this one.
Mhm.
Okay. Approval of surplus vehicles, Mr. Stone. Gave us that list, that second list.
The second list I gave you, I did have on it, because the first list of vehicles didn't have, any buses on it. I think you all had requested no buses, you didn't want the bus list, but, so it's the 5 vehicles, and then there are 2 buses that don't run.
So when's the next surplus auction?
We haven't set that yet.
Well, as high as vehicles are, I believe I can do that as fast as I could.
The buses, I'm not sure we'll get the buses. They may have to, some of it's probably buy them and scrap those.
Motors long enough to what it
Yeah,
is.
the motors are pretty much, going up.
So would we be able to scrap?
Possibly. That may be in our best interest. We've actually salvaged some of the parts. We've stripped those buses down for parts, so there's not much left.
That's the, put them in the bid.
We've done that in the past, we've figured out like what our scrap price would be, what we would get for the scrap, and then set that as a number good. Because one year we had that going for like $600.
Right.
We had profit and scrap price. So we just got that in a bit of those in the past.
Okay. Any discussion on action items?
I move we approve action item A, B, and C.
Okay, I have a motion to approve action items A, B, and C by Dr. Penix. Do I have a second?
Second.
I already.
Mr. Moose, second.
You are.
Did you say
Me,
A, B, and C, right?
I'm losing my voice.
Here's C, and approval of the.
Approval of surplus vehicle. All right, so I have a motion by Dr. Penix, second by Mr. Moose. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, moving on to number 6, consent items, finance, payment of current invoices. Mr. Hess has changed.
For the better.
I believe you guys got, the list of invoices to be paid in your packet, and then I have to figure out a few extra pages, with the quick makeup. Do you have any questions on any of these?
I had one question about in lieu of, transport in lieu of.
I believe that it's usually when, a student doesn't live close enough to where a bus stop is, that a parent drives them to meet the bus, and they get reimbursed for that.
Like one of them was $900
I'm not really sure about why that would be doing that, might come within that time.
Are those where you contract people in remote areas to bring children in, and they may bring in more than one?
That might be
Right,
what-
there are contract bus drivers, and there are also in so, right. There are times, I'm not sure about this particular person, but sometimes there'll be somebody who is placed in foster care in a different area, and so then they'll have to be bused farther if they opt to still go to school here. That might be the case, but not currently.
We do have some situations like that. in other counties.
So I can, I'll look into that, maybe I'll get with you, get it updated, and look at that actual $900 payment.
I just thought that was kind of.
Right, yeah, that does seem like a lot, but that might be what the case is. They might be having to move one of the out sometimes and driving the child in to go into the school year.
What do we pay per mile now?
I'm not sure if the rates are the same, for in-lieu and contract drivers. I mean, I'm sure for contract drivers they're probably different. Our mileage rate for employees is, 65.5 cents an hour right now. But, it might be, it's probably different for busing and city. I really don't know that for sure.
If memory serves me right, those are generally negotiated with the driver. May not be the same.
There's other areas more remote, people wear and tear on the vehicle.
You're talking about this $975.
Yeah,
I'll look at that.
there's a couple I'll every single,
Those are monthly, I think.
yeah, 20 days of school, $975. And a couple of people I had that question. That's all I had. Anybody else have anything for the payment of current invoice? Okay, out-of-state travel, Summerfield Middle School, Brian Brooks, Denise McGraw, Justin Woods, Maria Pennington, 50 students, Washington DC and Busch Gardens, May 18th to 19th, 2023. And RHS boys basketball, Bath County, Virginia, 25 students, Wednesday, February 1st, 2023, starting at 3 o'clock.
They make these good games. I mean,
Yes.
what's the,
Yeah,
I think they played that last couple of years. In the past.
Bath County is, on the other side of the yeah. Okay,
For the grade sports, 28 sports. On the grade center doing that.
all right, any discussion on consent items? Do we have a motion to accept consent items? Finance, paying the current invoices, out-of-state travel, and the
I read mine.
yeah, oh, I'm sorry.
I'll make a motion.
I'm second.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Booth, seconded by Dr. Penny. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you very much.
This is good rating.
Okay, item 7, personnel professional. Um, Superintendent says we'll go to executive session.
Mr. President, I agree that we go into executive session for the purpose of discussing personnel.
Second. Do I have a motion to come out of the executive session?
Second.
Mr. Berry made the motion to come out of executive session, second by Dr. Penix. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? At 7:47. And I might add that the decisions made during executive session. All right. Personnel agenda.
You have before you the updated personnel agenda. I've made copies available to the press and members of the public. The changes are in red. I will read those. On page 1, for substitute teacher, we added the name Haley Carpenter. On page 2, under consent, Tina Foster resigns her position as cook at Summersville Elementary School effective November 30th, 2022. We added the following volunteers for approval: Samantha Boyce, Nicole Young, Josh Ashbury, Brandy Dillard, Jamie Ruth, Joseph Miller, Lola Crowder, Patricia Richmond, Courtney Thompson, Kimberly Phillips, Adriana Burkhammer, Casey Burkhammer, Jeremy Lane, Laura Collins, and Jackie Smith. And also a voluntary transfer there pursuant to West Virginia Code 18A-4-7AU. And upon recommendation of the building principal, please approve the voluntary transfer of Heather Hannah from her current position of 5th grade teacher at Cherry River Elementary School to flex teacher at the same school, effective for the 23-24 school year. You also have several leave requests that I will not read aloud to protect the privacy of our employees. And I also have an updated vacancy list for you. And Mr. Green, I'll make sure that I upload this stuff in the packet for you. I wasn't aware that you weren't going to be here tonight. With the hires pending on the agenda tonight, that will bring our classroom vacancies down for this year down to 9, which I think we were at a high of 23 or something earlier in the year, so that's good. But based on the people who are going to be retiring at the end of the year, technically we've got 15, but those positions that are listed below there, where it says vacant FY24, those are currently filled at the moment. So if you have any questions about that, I'll be happy to answer them. Okay, that takes us to superintendent's information, construction planning, architectural update. had the pre-bid meeting for, on November 1st for Cherry River campus. And we had 5 companies show up interested in bidding. And on the 15th, we will open bids at 1 o'clock here in the board office. So I'm pretty excited to get that going. The Glade Creek property, everything is still progressing very well with the getting the property leveled, all the drains in. We have been waiting on a phone pole to be, electric pole to be moved. It finally got moved. They're continuing to build the second wall now where the pole was moved. We got a permit issued for, to go across the roadway owned on the Glade Creek property. So the state gave us a permit for that. Everything seems to be coming together pretty well. If you have any specific questions, I'll be happy to try to answer those, but I just kind of gave you a brief of things that we've discussed. We do have a weekly phone conference, and Dr. Banks and Mr. Prime, they participate in that phone conference with me. Some things you'll see when I pass these out, they carry over week to week, and it's just a running list so that we can discuss and make sure that ongoing projects are continuing to progress. Any questions? And as stated earlier, the playground is coming together real well at Cherry River Elementary. They put of course, the first structure, the green playground set was up earlier, and then there was a matching swing set that was installed, and they took one of the big silver swings and put new poles up, made it just a little lower, and painted it green, or most of it green. We have 2 more swing sets that need to be moved, and we have another playground structure that will be moved as the final move. It's been indicated that some of the teachers do not want the monkey bars replaced, they want them removed. So we're waiting on a letter from the faculty asking that it not be replaced. I don't want it to be just 1 or 2 teachers that don't want it. I want to make sure I hear that from faculty senate. And then, of course, if that's what they say, we'll honor that. And then the preschool area, we know exactly where to locate that preschool and have that fixed. So we're in good shape. Want to make sure, trying to get all that done before the contractors move in, so that the playground doesn't get messed up and the kids have a good place to play. So one of the teachers did send me a picture the other day, and she said that the kids were squealing and laughing as they ran out to play on the swings, so they're enjoying it.
So just to update on what bid will be open.
1 o'clock on the 15th here. And everyone's welcome to attend this open. It's not a board meeting, it's just a bid opening. Whatever the 15th does.
We also have a board meeting that evening.
Yeah, we have a LSI meeting at Richwood at 5.
The bid opening's at 1. It doesn't take long for the bid opening.
Is that 5 or 6?
It's a 5.
Yeah, the bid opening will just consist of the architect checking to make sure that the bonds are in place and that all the paperwork's been properly completed, and then they'll read what each person. So hopefully all 5 will bid, and it'll be a very competitive bidding process. And then once that's brought forward, the next board meeting is the 28th. I seriously doubt whoever the low bid is will have all their paperwork in prior to the 28th. So I am hopeful that on the 28th, I can bring the bid in to recommend to this board to to approve.
That doesn't have to go back to the SBA, does it?
It does, pending SBA approval.
Again, state Christian.
We have such a process. I mean, everything that concerning the federal money and everything that we're doing, it is scrutinized. I mean, which is good. It's good for us. We need as many eyes on it as we can. It's not going to delay us any. We'll be fine. SBA's on our side. They're trying to get this stuff through. It won't be a problem. It'll just be, it's just a process.
Talk to that one SBA guy, chairman.
Yeah, I think they're ready.
They're 100% on our, they're wanting
Yeah,
us to.
ready.
Yeah, they're really being good to us, so. But like I said, it's good. I mean, I know it's a pain. It's been a long, drawn-out process. But in the end, we will be better for it because our finances are in shape. Everything's being done as it should be, and we shouldn't have any issues in the future. Okay?
Okay, item 9, reports, SESC, Dr. Penny.
We won't meet until the middle of the month, so I'll have one on the 28th.
Okay. Bright Horizons, Mr. Freeman.
I got some emails from today. They're going very well. I'll probably send in next week in their meeting with them, so I'll have some more things later on, but they're going very well.
Okay, thank you. Item 10, delegations.
One, Erica Grove. Long evening.
So when he's ready, you state your name and where you're from. And call.
My name is Erica Groves, and I live in Nicholas County. I work for the Board of Education. I had 2 substitute positions, a restricted teaching permit, and a full-time aide position at Nicholas County High School. I resigned the permanent full-time aide position that was on my paper when it was read at the board meeting on the 3rd. It said I resigned all positions. I specifically named the permanent full-time aide special ed room in Nicholas County High School. I didn't resign my sub-positions, and I will return to the county.
It's not a discussion item, so
Okay.
is that all you have to say? Okay. Thank you.
So like the next meeting, you have to make a decision. I just asked, how would that mean? I'm happy to talk to you. I'll talk to you after the meeting.
Okay, number 11, items for future agendas. Anybody have anything?
Again, next week, 5 o'clock, this week, Palestine.
Right.
And the next board meeting is 1 or 2. Well, it is Monday.
Well, how much time do we have to submit, things for the agenda? What's the deadline?
2 o'clock on Wednesday?
I'd like to have it by noon, that's what I asked.
By noon on Wednesday?
That gives me time to get it typed up and ready.
Prior to the meeting, prior to the meeting.
Yes.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, I have to have that agenda posted by 4.
Okay. should I send it to them, agenda items to you?
I mean, you can copy it to me, but,
Yeah.
you can send it to both of us. And then we look at the agenda together, and then. Okay, future meeting dates. LSIC meeting Tuesday, November 15th at Richwood High School, which is located at Craigsville, and the start time is 5 o'clock, and that will be Panther Creek, Cherry River, Richwood Middle School, Richwood High School. Is that in that order, right? Okay, regular meeting Monday, November 28th, 2022, at the Memphis County Board Office. Start time is 6 o'clock.
You said that we have one meeting scheduled?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Wondering, is that going to present a problem for finance and payment for interest and things like that?
I don't know, I mean, who knows that it's just one board meeting, we haven't said anything.
We asked them about exactly that, but it's that we would work with.
Okay. Anything else?
We just have one more meeting in December.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Right. Okay, if there's nothing else, do I have a motion to adjourn? Mr. Berry was ahead of you.
How can I say it?
And Dr. Pennick second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?